Hello everyone, today we're going to talk about, wow, that was really a YouTube video intro, but today we're going to talk about voting, both in Senate and in PC. I do not have so much to say about this because it's very straightforward. In the Senate as well as in PC, um, the they vote by simple majority. What does that mean? It means that a piece of legislation passes as soon as it has one half of the senators or plebeian council's vote plus one. That's what we call a simple majority. Now, one exception to that is the auto pass threshold. In the Senate, I'm not sure about the PC. I haven't found anything that points in a direction, but in the Senate, there is a possibility to auto pass certain legislation if certain requirements are met. So, where you do find it on the Senate board in the information tab, and then you click on the senatorial auto passes. You will find it here. So the simple auto pass applies to legislation that is due in under 24 hours. Then you just need 15 votes and a 4:1 ratio, and then you can auto pass it. If, of course, you are procurator or princeps or consul. The second applies to different kinds of legislation and does not require the what do you call it? What the fuck? Holy shit! For a second I thought I had deleted the autopass law. Okay. So yeah, the constitutional autopass applies to all legislation. It is a minimum that has to be met before it can be autopassed. Okay. And then there's a specific thing for coupe shows. So yeah, you can read it by the way. When you, I mean, it is not relevant to you unless you are a procurator or princeps. But it is interesting if you want to understand why things are randomly autopassed. Okay, I mean not randomly, but yeah, you get the idea. Okay, now to the interesting part of this. Lesson. I wrote it all out. This is okay. This is for later. So basically, I'm gonna start with the plebeian stuff. Magistrates. Okay. So everything that has to do with magistrates, you can find in the Constitution. Okay. So when it comes to plebeian magistrates, there's a law right here. When it comes to senatorial magistrates, there's a law right here. There's even two, and everything that relates to them is in there. Let's start with no, not this. Okay. These pyramids, by the way, relate to the power that is distributed within the PC and within the Senate. Okay, I'm just going to put it on. Okay, it is not in terms of civil power, military power, whatever. This is just the pyramid represents the plebeian council as an entity, and then the magistrates that are in it. Okay, so what do we see in the PC? There is two plebeian tribunes. What the fuck? There is two plebeian tribunes. Actually, I should write the numbers with them. There's two plebeian tribunes, and they oversee the plebeian council as a whole. They have imperium over all of these people when it comes to plebeian council matters. Okay, so then second in the pyramid is you could say that that the caput conciliari and the magistrate M and C do wield a certain part of the plebeian tribune's power. They are, however, inferior to the plebeian tribune. So when the plebeian tribune says something, they do it. They cannot go against the will of the tribunes. Okay. So the caput conciliari are some kind of princeps senators. Okay, so what do they do? There's three of them, by the way. And there's only one. Okay, yeah, that's clear so far. So what do they do? The Caput Conciliari, they manage the Senate. So they do what the Princeps and the Procurator do in the Senate. They insert new senators, they appoint new ones, they propose cupatios, they make sure that new plebeian councilmen are up to date with what they have to do, with how they have to format stuff like that. So basically, they manage the plebeian council for the purely administrative matters in correspondence with the PC, with the plebeian tribunes. Okay. Now, why did I put the magistrates here? Because the magistrates C and M, which are also representatives to the Senate, by the way, it is in the Constitution written that they wield a certain part of plebeian power imperium. That's how it's called, plebeian imperium. So the imperium that contains the power to manage the PC also. And they have this power, but it is also subordinate to the plebeian tribunes. It does, however, not say that it's inferior to the Caput Conciliari. So, in that way, basically the magistrate M is superior to the plebeian, to the Caput Conciliari. But yeah, these segments work together when it comes to managing the PC. It is, however, so that the plebeian tribunes work as a dictatorial duo within the PC. Okay. Don't write that down. They're not dictators, but they have complete imperium over the PC. And then we've got the magistrates that do not have imperium in regards to the plebeian consul, but do have their field of expertise in which they can, to certain lengths, work autonomously. So there is two aedile plebis who work together with the aedile curules, which are senatorial aediles. What do aediles do? They manage. They host events. They manage certain documentation. Although that part has kind of faded away, but they have that authority in the constitution. Although the councillors kinda, basically, they take care of it. Okay. Anyways, the most important thing you have to remember is that they host events, they apply the entertainment for the people, free-for-alls, whatever you want, and they also manage the Aediles Dominon, of course. And then there is the Princeps Oratoris. He has one job, and it's the College of Orators. He manages it just like the Praetor C manages the Judicial College. Pretty straightforward. And then there is the Adytum Plebis, and the Adytum Plebis has no power towards the PC, but some kind of aligns himself with these two segments in the way that they can grant plebeian citizenships. We'll see in a minute that he is in some ways subordinate to the Censor, but all you have to know about the Adytum Plebis is that he takes care of the plebeian citizenship in his own way by his own imperium. Okay, so then so this was for PC. By the way, there is also two of these and only one Princeps Oratoris. So then on to the Senate. By the way, I am considering these entities as separately right now. I will, in a minute, visualize the relations between all of them, okay? So, in the Senate, there is one Consul M, there is one Consul C, okay? And these do oversee all of Rome. So basically, this segment also oversees the plebeian consul, okay? And it also, like, it has ultimate power over the Senate, so it can suspend people and all that. It can suspend people, every magistrate, every senator, but not their co-senators, of course. Their co-consuls, of course. So, basically, the Consul M manages everything in the field of military. Consul C everything in the field of the civil sector. But I will come back to this later. So underneath, when it comes to senatorial management, you've got the princeps senatus, which is one person, and then there is the procurators. There's two. I'm currently a procurator. I've been praetor C in the past, but like, okay, you get the idea. A princeps oratoris manages the Senate the same way the Caput Conciliari manages the plebeian council. Okay, he can suspend people. He can auto-pass legislation within the auto-pass threshold. He can veto things if they do not meet the constitution. Although that the vetoing part is more the procurator section. But when it comes to suspending people, the princeps is superior to the procurator. Okay, and it is the princeps' job to oversee the Senate meetings, even though there are little, but still, Senate meetings and suspensions. Whereas the procurator basically has some kind of autonomy over auto-passing when it comes to the auto-pass threshold and vetoing when it comes to the enforcing of the constitution. Okay, and then there is, just like in PC, a group of magistrates that have imperium in their own field but have not any power within the Senate. The praetor C, M, and U are just like consuls but without power in the Senate, and they each oversee a respective field of Rome. Praetor C oversees the judicial college, and basically can do with whatever he wants with it, unless limited by law or by Consul C. Praetor M works directly under the Consul C. So basically, the relationship Praetors M is much closer because they coordinate everything they do together. It is, however, it is for the Consul C and the Praetor C. It is a little bit different because the Praetor C only wields a very small part of the Consul C's imperium. In that way, that it is common that the Praetor C just does his thing in the JC, and that the Consul C only steps in if it's necessary, or if he really wants to change something. Okay, for the rest, if nothing goes wrong, usually the Praetor C can do whatever he wants. And then there is the question of the Praetor U. Basically, the Praetor U is oversees the Urbani cohorts, and since the law enforcement is all under the part of the Consul C, the Praetor U is also responsible towards the Consul C. However, it is not uncommon that the Praetor U also works closely with the Consul C due to his if the Consul C has a lot of things to do, whatever. And there's the censor. The censor takes care of the gentes, the families, as well as the organizations, private organizations. He's supposed to keep a record of it, for what organizations there are, the status, blah 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 blah. Censor does mainly administrative tasks. It has some power towards the Senate. I was doubting if I should put him here or here. But basically, a censor can auto-pass things too if they meet the auto-pass threshold, and he can index legislation whenever legislation is passed. Okay, so that's this is a kind of a big magistrate. I mean, censor is bigger than procurator in terms of how much work they have. Okay, procurator, you only have to step in if it's needed or if legislation meets a threshold or whatever. So yeah. Then there's Aedile C. Aedile is the same as a plebeian, but senatorial and slightly superior. Nothing much to say about it. Pontifex Maximus oversees religio, and that's all they do. And also for a part of section Sanctus, the guard unit that protects priests. Okay, so now we've seen both parts separated. Now let's take a look at the assembly of the civil sector. So we've got our consul civilis, who basically oversees the entire civil sector, including the aedilacy, but most importantly the praetorcy, and the maxi directly. So the whole point of the maxi is that plebeian magistrates learns how to manage the civil sector, and so in that way, directly overseen by the consulcy. Also, the maxi in the civil sector has a position wherein he is superior to the praetor O, the princeps O, the aedidum plebis, the aedilacy P. This is supposed to be a P. He has some kind of connection to the aedilacy if he wanted, since he also oversees the entire civil sector, but below. He's still a plebeian magistrate. He's below the consul civilis, below the senatorial magistrates, but he works together with every civil magistrate, including the praetorcy, including the praetor U. And so you've got this relationship. So the consul C oversees the paramilitaries, excluding PG, because that is part of the imperial forces. But okay, praetor U, and then the censor, of course, because censor handles the citizenships, the cantus, the documentation, everything that is civil. So the censor clearly also falls under consul C, but the censor itself is also superior in some ways to the aeditum plebis, because when it comes to the citizenship process, the censor can in some ways also grant aeditum plebis, so the plebeian citizenships. However, the plebeian tribune also oversees the aeditum plebis, so sometimes this leads to tensions. But yeah. And then there is, of course, the procurator, princeps, pontifex, and PC as a whole, which are all under the command of the consul civilis. But this is how the civil sector relates to each other. So I advise you maybe to take a screen of this, because it's decently written, since I read it in advance. So then the little bit more simple is the military sector. So we've got our consul militaris, which directly oversees the praetor M, the praetor U, the magister M, and the pontifex. Well, this is a dotted line because, well, this oversight is shared with the consul C, but you get the idea. Same story as with the mag M. They work together with the praetors, and the praetors have oversight over him. He's subordinate to the senatorial magistrates. And then, of course, there is the when it comes to sanctus, the pontifex also is overseen by the consul militaris. Okay, I have been a lot of talking. I'm quite exhausted, and I also have the feeling that my English is fading for some reason. Anyways, yeah, we have done everything I wanted to say. 19 minutes, long enough. Alright, I'll see you next lesson then, I guess. I hope some people will at least attend in like this lesson.